Hey everybody, it's your boy Captain Hunter from Captain Hunter's Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning into this particular show. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Make sure you hit that rate, subscribe, and share button. Today I want to get into it about another show that I did. So on my other platform, LMH Consulting Services, I talk mostly about police issues. So I did a breakdown of the Diddy raid that was done, and Stephen A. Smith had an attorney on his show talking about that raid and the legal problems that lie ahead for Diddy. And so if you're not familiar with that scenario, please make sure you go over to the other podcast channel, LMH Consulting Services, and watch that video. Stephen A. Smith in his back and forth with in an interview. It wasn't really a back and forth with an attorney. But at the end of the interview, there was a moment where Stephen A. Smith gave the floor to the attorney and talking about black male voting patterns. Really kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And it reminded me of the sister who I have on the screen here, Miss Tiffany Cross. I would assume, one of the reasons why she her contract was not renewed with MSNBC, because you start to do things that alienate a particular base. And Miss Tiffany Cross made some comments that a lot of black men really took offense to. I was one of them. People telling us what to vote for, get in line, follow our lead, things along those lines. Really, really unacceptable type of speech and behavior. So I want to play the interview that Stephen A. Smith had with the attorney. But first, we're going to start off with Miss Tiffany Cross and see the language that she used. And then you tell me in the comment section whether the attorney reminds you the scolding, the talking to, the mommying of Stephen A. Smith. You tell me if you get the same opinion. And at the end of that, make sure you rate, subscribe, and share.
Roland made a really legitimate point here. I will say, a lot of black men sometimes feel like they're ignored or they're put down, particularly sometimes even by black women in the media. So this is not that. But I do hear Roland's point that felt ignored. But you feel ignored, and then you go over to the other side. The oppressed feel oppressed. So then you go and try to align with the oppressor. So I'm not putting black men down, but sometimes it's like, well, some of you Kevin Samuels following Tariq Nasheed quoting people, please look at the truth and see what's happening and get in line with some of the black women. Is majority, like he said, vote Democrat, but that margin of people who can be plucked away from your people and go advance policies that harm your people, I just don't understand that.
Opportunity to check me on my own show, because one of the things you got on me about was that, how I've been so disgusted with the Democratic Party because we're relying on a soon-to-be 82-year-old for 4 more years. And I respect your opinion so much. I respect your thoughts so much. It's not the first time I've interviewed you. I'm certainly hoping it won't be the last. But I want to give you an opportunity to get at me because of that before I let you get on out of it, because I know you do. Go ahead, the floor is yours, Aretha.
Okay, what I want to say to you is you have such an incredible platform and following, and people respect you and they look up to you. And we need your voice pulling in the direction of saving this democracy. So please save your complaints and all of your gripes about the Democratic Party until after we win this election. It is not a perfect party by any stretch of the imagination. I have my own complaints, some personal issues I have with the party.
And we're going to talk about this at a later date. Yes, we are.
I am mature enough as a voter to recognize that everything we believe in this country is on the line in this election. And we have too many folks with powerful positions and platforms pulling against us. So those of us who are going to vote for Joe Biden, and you told me you were one of them,
I am.
Then you need to check yourself so that you are not sending conflicting and contradictory messages, because somebody will tell me, well, Stephen A. Smith said he's disgusted with the Democratic Party, so I'm not voting at all. So not voting at all is a vote for Donald Trump.
I would never encourage people not to vote.
No.
All right, I'm going to leave it off right there. So listen, you heard it for yourself, right? Get in line. Check yourself, right? Democratic Party, even though you're disgusted with them, even though they haven't given us anything, I got my own issues with them. We're going to do this. There's a third choice, right? There's got to be a valid third party option. There's whatever the percent. A third of the country is is Democrat, a third registered Democrat. A third of the country as a voting population is registered Republican, and the rest of us, 40%, which is bigger than the other two, are actually independent. If the independents can push, then we can get some real reforms and real change, and we get a new candidate in there who's going to have the actual will of the voters in line and the will of the people. But this idea that just like Tiffany Cross, we got to shut up, we got to just get in line. You Tariq Nasheed quoting Kevin Samuels loving individuals, you got to get in line, right? So here's another lawyer telling him, and he's kind of just taking it. No. The answer is, and it's more fear. It's more fear, right? The country's going to go down. There's going to be more riots. Another January 6th. And listen, I'm concerned about that as well. But the problem is that we're not getting anything else. Inflation is up. Housing rates are sky high. Interest rates are sky high. Inflation, food prices, gas, all this stuff is way up, and there's no end in sight. Probably for either party, right? To be completely honest with us, but why is that, right? So we gotta address that. And going down the same old rabbit hole, the same old thing is not working for many of us. We're waking up to this, and if you want our votes, you have to give us something. We sent you to Congress so you can perform a duty for us. We sent you to Congress. Let me stop this here, right? We sent you to Congress so that you can perform a duty for us, so not so that you can enhance and enrich yourselves and all that kind of stuff, right? So get yourselves together, do what we're asking you to do, not what big corporations and other donors are asking you to do. Do what we're asking you to do. Have our best interests in heart, and do something for your constituents who sent you to Congress to perform a duty. And gaslighting us, shaming us, insulting us, telling us to get in line to follow you is not gonna work. Not gonna work. We're gonna vote our interest. That's it. Much love and peace, everyone. Let me know your thoughts, your opinions. Hit me in the comment section. Let's get the conversation going.